Let me hit you with this, Buck. You're a New York City guy. Cracker Barrel is being universally savaged over their decision to do away with
They need Sydney Sweeney. I'm seeing the memes. Cracker Barrel needs Sydney Sweeney to save the brand.
So I have two questions for you to have some fun to start off the day here, the third hour here after 14 hours on the air so far this week. Let me ask you this. We have seen the old white guy, Cracker Barrel guy, both the Cracker and the Barrel canceled. We have seen the Native American, the Indian, good-looking Land O'Lakes lady. Remember her? Used to be on the Land O'Lakes butter. Poor Aunt Jemima has given up the ghost on the syrup. And Uncle Ben, do you remember Uncle Ben from Uncle Ben's Rice back in the day? All of them have been canceled for being considered to be problematic. If you could bring back one, who do you bring back? Cracker Barrel guy, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, or the Indian Land O'Lakes girl?
Probably Indian Land O'Lakes girl. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't really have a strong preference than any of this.
I've got a power ranking here. I know exactly. I think it's Aunt Jemima. I think Aunt Jemima really got treated unfairly, and she was great on the pancake syrup. Now, I want the Cracker Barrel guy to come back, but I would like to see all four return. But I think Aunt Jemima would be my number one draft pick here. And second part of this, in your home city of New York, Cracker Barrel decided to reach out with all of this going on, and they had a public line dancing event in New York City as part of their rebranding of Cracker. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I just can't believe that this is real. These marketing people are such morons. They did a line dancing event in New York City after canceling the logo, after arguing basically that the brand was outdated. And now they're going to do line dancing in New York City.
I'm going to tell you,
it's crazy.
AI, people talk about what jobs are going to be under pressure from AI. I think marketing is going to be a career of the past in a lot of ways because the tools of marketing, making things, pulling together research, making logos, brands, that's going to get a lot easier for everybody. And so I believe that you're going to see that. Also, advertising, the advertising industry, more and more that's going to be brought in-house. And with AI, you can create logos and decals and videos and all kinds of things on your own. So now, I'm sure there are some very nice conservative marketing people out there, but generally those are industries that are absolutely dominated by communists and have been a huge problem for those of us who work in conservative media for as long as I've been doing this. Because they block us all the time. They don't want to work with conservative brands. These Madison Avenue advertising executives and the rest of it, these marketing executives, they don't want to work with conservative brands. They bring extremely left-wing politics to things. And so the wreckage that I think is going to run roughshod through those industries because of AI is, well, in a lot of cases, it will be a comeuppance that is well-deserved.
Have you seen this video yet of the line dancing going on in New York City's meatpacking district?
Okay, so can I just tell everybody, meatpacking is one of the trendiest neighborhoods in New York. I think you would have one of the lowest levels of Republican registration in meatpacking, probably in all the 5 boroughs. I mean, it's up there with Brooklyn, the really blue parts of Brooklyn, which are 95% plus Democrat. So to roll out the line dancing in meatpacking is quite a thing to do.
I just, really what this gets down to, and I know it's a silly, ridiculous story, but I do think it's reflective. They hire these executives who have contempt for the customer. That's really what this is about. When you decide you're going to rebrand, oftentimes what you're saying is the people who like us, we don't like them. And this was Bud Light. Hey, Bud Light's too fratty. They have an immature sense of humor. Yeah, most guys do. Most normal guys have a little bit of an inappropriate and immature sense of humor. Every single person married to a man knows this. Every single person raising a son or a grandson knows this. We all, men, are a little bit immature and oftentimes a little bit inappropriate. That doesn't make us bad people. In fact, it actually makes us somewhat more likable and endearing because if you have a sense of humor, as we just talked about with Trump, sometimes you can have a more effective communication strategy with humor than you can with straight aggressive analysis of argument. The other thing here, though, Cracker Barrel, I thought Byron Donalds did a really good job calling in and talking about this because he had worked there when he was a kid. Good idea.
He's always a fun guest.
But good idea from Buck because he was tweeting about it. He was like, shoot him a text, see if he'll call in and talk about it. But I do think I feel this and I see it because, college football fans sometimes get raked over the coals because we're seen as rubes, because we're seen as not sophisticated football, or you're not the right kind of person to appear oftentimes in television advertisement or whatever else. That's the people who eat at Cracker Barrel. And so they have contempt for their audience. And that's why you do a pop-up event in the meatpacking district of New York City, because that CEO, that's who she wants coming to Cracker Barrel. She wants the trendy person from New York City who they're never going to eat at Cracker Barrel. That's not your base. It's old Southerners like me, people who want nostalgia from old Southern meals that they might have had in the past or that they might remember. And it really gets me angry because you're destroying something that someone built that is actually great, and you have contempt for the people that have allowed that business to exist. You're turning your back on them. And it really fires me up, honestly.
Well, this is progressives all throughout the culture. They're locusts. They show up and they just destroy. They take over and destroy things left and right. California, for example. Now, no, it's not destroyed. California's still got a lot of beautiful stuff and great places to live. But in terms of governance, the taxes and all the way that it's handled, California became great when it was a red state. That's when California reached it became what it was when it was a reliably Republican state, actually. And then Democrats took over, and they do this in a lot of places. They take over something that is, remarkable, and they make it. I mean, look at what they did with Twitter before Elon bought it. Twitter was this cool social media site. And then it just became infiltrated with these progressive lunatic left-wingers. And then they turned it into a big social justice, like a nonprofit, basically. And we're using it to discriminate against their political enemies. And they completely overran that place. I mean, this is why when Elon bought it was so fascinating. You saw this. It's like they burrowed in. As I always say, they're an invasive species. They don't seek to be in harmony with the right, with conservatives in these places, live and let live, neutral space. That's all nonsense. They want to completely create a political monoculture. And unfortunately, Clay, marketing and advertising, it's kind of like Broadway. Total political monocultures. There's nothing else allowed except left-wing stuff. And that needs to change. I hope it will change. But on the Cracker Barrel issue, too, people were saying, well, who cares or why? No. It's not just that the woman who was in charge of this crappy rebrand effort clearly is like an MSNBC watching liberal. That's one part of it. Why did they want to change it? What was the indicator that it was in need of change? It was old, it was white, it was Southern. And those things are viewed by the people put in charge of the rebrand as inherently negative. That's the point. That's why it offends people that they messed with this thing.
And again, we're going to go to break, but I do think that is the only reason the business exists. If you take away the Southern charm of Cracker Barrel, there is nothing left. That is the foundation of the brand. You're never going to get trans influencers from Brooklyn to show up at Cracker Barrel to go eat. They don't like the people who consume their product. And honestly, it is malpractice to have people running the company that don't respect the people that consume the product. I mean, that's the truth. Look, Tunnel to Towers, their support and your support makes a lasting difference for so many families like the Clark family. U.S. Air Force Sergeant Jesse Clark's military service came to an end after a chemical exposure caused a large tumor to form in his brain. As a result, he's paralyzed on the left side of his body, legally blind, prone to memory loss and in a wheelchair for the remainder of his life. Friends like you helped Tunnel to Towers build this hero a new smart home to help him live a more independent life. So many more families like the Clarks need your help now. Tunnel to Towers was founded after the horrific events of 9/11 to help families like the Clarks. We can't forget, not when they've sacrificed so much for all of us. America's heroes have given so much, and thanks to them, you can give a lasting and impressive donation to help show your commitment to their sacrifice. Join us in donating $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.